Leaders' questions. The Colin Deputy Ó Cuív.
Tánaiste, in last year's budget you made big play out of the fact that you didn't cut. Thanks very much. I appreciate that.
Sorry, would you please proceed? Thank you.
Now, the reality is, of course, that you mightn't have cut the headline rates, but you made very sharp and very deep cuts in a whole raft of schemes that are very important to people. I'll mention some of those schemes: the fuel allowance, the family income supplement, the community employment schemes, the two schemes, job seekers benefit, child benefit, farm assist, and particularly schemes that affect women. For some reason, the Minister always seems to want to target women for her cuts. In the budget, the Minister announced significant cutbacks of 2/3 in the materials and in the training grants for the 22,000 people on community employment schemes, targeting a saving of 36 million. Because of the backlash against this, she announced a review. We understand that this review has been completed for some considerable time, and RTE have stated that letters have been sent out to some CE providers telling them that there will be a cut of 30 to 40% in the material and training grants. Could you tell us when will the review be published and why is it not published yet? Why is it being hidden from this House? And can you outline what cuts are being applied to the community employment schemes and the two schemes around the country, and how many places will be lost, and how many people will be laid off these schemes because of the government action?
Thank you. Tánaiste.
Well, first of all, can I welcome Deputy Ó Cuív back to active service? Great to see her. I missed you, and I look forward, since this is the last day of this Dáil session, I look forward to seeing you here regularly when we return in September. In relation to community employment schemes, this government supports community employment. It plays an important role in the provision of crucial services to both rural and urban communities across the country. Currently, there are 1,143 CE schemes in operation nationally, with 23,300 places, of which there are approximately 22,000 participants and approximately 1,400 full-time supervisor posts. The overall estimated budget for CE in 2012 will be approximately 340 million. Of course, as part of the requirement that we have to fix the hole left in the public finances by Fianna Fáil, it is necessary to examine all aspects of expenditure across every government department. And it was against this background that the financial review of CE schemes got underway a couple of months ago. The main objective was to identify areas where savings could be achieved through efficiencies, so that the best use could be made of the available funds. As a result of the review, significant savings have already been made to the overheads of CE projects in terms of annual insurance costs and audit fees. The savings will increase next year, as some projects had already incurred these costs prior to the new arrangements being put in place. Under the revised arrangements, schemes will no longer be given universal amounts of financial support, but will instead be provided with a specific level of support aimed at meeting the particular costs necessarily incurred by the individual CE scheme, having regard to the overall level of funding available to CE nationally. The materials and CE and training CE budget has now been increased by €9.5 million from the original budget of approximately €11 million, following savings identified elsewhere in the Department of Social Protection budget. The new CE materials and training budget is thus €20.5 million. Each community employment scheme has been notified of its revised material and training allocation based on the amounts recommended by the Department's divisional staff following consultations with schemes. The majority of schemes have indicated satisfaction with their revised allocation in these difficult economic times. In addition to the training allocation for schemes, CE participants may also access a number of Springboard, VEC and FOSS courses free of charge. As a result of the CE review process, the Minister for Social Protection has also introduced an appeals mechanism for schemes when they feel that they are unable to survive on the new training and material allocations. It is also worth noting that a separate labour activation schemes policy review is underway, and this review, which is nearing completion, will also help to inform the Department's strategic approach in relation to these schemes, including CE programmes into the future.
Deputy Ó Cuív, 1 minute.
Tánaiste, when the schemes were brought in under the Department of Social Protection, the idea was to look at the total budget paid to people who are out of work and to transfer money from the $5 billion we pay people to do nothing, which is very bad for their health and for their well-being, and to transfer it over into opportunities to make a useful contribution to society, which is good for their own well-being and good for society. In other words, we saw people not as a burden, but as a resource. This government seems to see otherwise.
I'll have a question, please.
Could you confirm that the RSI, in their review of your budget, made it absolutely clear that the 2012 budget imposed greater percentage losses on those with low incomes? The second question I have is, when will the review be published? And the third question I have is, could you give me details of the average cut per scheme across the country, the average cut per scheme across this country, so that we know exactly what the Minister has done in relation to cutting CE schemes?
Thank you. Tánaiste.
Well, first of all, Deputy Ó Cuív, you have a hard neck to lecture this government either about CE schemes or about the budget or about anything in relation to the economy. You left government last February 12 months, leaving behind you the biggest financial and economic mess that this country has ever faced. And in the 16 months,
Thank you.
in the 16 months since then, this government has made strides to restore this country's economic fortunes. We have successfully separated bank debt from sovereign debt, which you left us. We reduced the interest rate on the borrowings that we had. We are working our way to recovery, and in relation to those who are on the lowest incomes, we reversed the cut in the minimum wage that you made. We took 300,000 people out of the universal social charge, which you had met. We are doing reforms. We are doing reforms in the area of social protection, and as far as social employment schemes is concerned, the man sitting beside me, Minister Quinn, was the man who introduced social employment schemes. This government is committed to maintaining social employment schemes. We are supporting them. The amount of money that is available for labour activation and for social protection and for schemes such as this has actually increased. We have over 22,000 people in social employment schemes, and the Minister for Social Protection, yes, she has made changes in the way the trainings and material money is being provided to social employment schemes, and as I've said, the vast majority of social employment schemes have indicated their satisfaction with that.